This is the Craig Bohl Football Show, presented by Gate City Bank.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. Back on track. The North Dakota State football team was coming off a loss, but after a thunderous statement on the road at South Dakota, that Indiana State loss is a distant memory. NDSU records its first shutout in a Missouri Valley Conference game. It was a 54-0 defensive masterpiece. Here to talk about it is head coach Craig Bohl. Congratulations on the victory, and what a dominant performance and a recovery win by your team.
Well, it's important that we move forward as a football team, and we had a good week of practice. We were playing a very capable opponent on the road, which always makes it difficult. I want to say thanks to our fans. It was a great contingent of people that showed up. We had a strong presence there, so thanks, Bison.
There was some apprehension early in the week with all the injuries, wasn't there?
Well, certainly. Anytime you lose your starting two wide receivers coming into the ball game, it's going to be important that we develop depth. Those guys have done that. Thought Brock played well, and without question, our defense was phenomenal.
Let's break down this first half. A neutral site game, Howard Wood Field in Sioux Falls, and there's that crowd. Wow, Bison Nation out in force.
Well, they certainly were, and they were treated, and we certainly appreciate our fan support, Jeremy.
Brock took a shot on this first series here.
Well, you know, coming up, he held the ball a little bit, but we've got to get better protection, and they came up with a sack there. We've got to prevent those.
Start of a dominant defensive performance, Grant Olson.
Well, you can see Grant there finding his way on the quarterback draw.
Offense got in a rhythm early, though. John Crockett, nice move.
You know what? Good blocking up front, and then John does a good job finding his way, about a 15-yard gain.
Good third down efficiency. Again, this is a 3rd and 4 play to Nate Moody.
Well, we played particularly well on third down. We've got to look at trying to not be in third down as much, but you can see a good protection, nice throw by Brock, and a great catch by Nate, the old Dickinson product.
And this design keeper by Brock really works in good position.
Well, Brent Vegan dialed up a great play there. Brock has got good mobility, and we knew they were going to be into coverage, and Veeks called up a good one. Brock found his way through some good blocking.
Back to this phenomenal defensive effort, and number 34 kept stuffing that coyote run. Another 3 and out coming up here.
You know, Grant is a really, really smart football player, and he's got good ability, and he understands our defense, and you can see he's got excellent instinct, finding that hole, penetrating, and coming up, and it's another 3 and out.
This was a big game for the Sioux Falls kids on the roster. Trevor Gebhardt really stepped up.
Well, Trevor's from Sioux Falls, Washington, and we've had a lot of guys from Sioux Falls, but Trevor's played well, and this was a neat homecoming for him.
Brock changes the play coming up here. That was a 3rd and 15 play, by the way. Changes the play, finds Andrew Oakland as this drive really materializes.
Well, I think this is another case in point of Brock's maturity, and he found a weakness over in their secondary, dialed up a nice throw and a good catch by Andrew Oakland.
Samuel Jury finishes this drive off with a nice touchdown run. It's 14-0. You're taking control now.
Well, it's still fairly early, but we feel good about where we're at. Good blocking up front, and a great job by Sam finding the hole. 14-0 on the road first quarter. That's a great start.
And the crowd did make an impact, didn't they? I think the noise was big.
Yeah, it was, and it was great to see all our fans there, and we certainly appreciate the support that we have with the Bison Nation.
Cole Jurek, a tackle for a loss here, and this is their only first down of the first quarter. They only had 1 first down of the first quarter, actually.
Well, good pressure by our defensive front, and also along with that, good coverage.
So no Ryan Smith in the return game here, so you put Christian Dudzik back there, and talk about him as a return man.
Well, Christian's really our fastest player on our football team. He's a tenacious player. He does a nice job here finding his way and actually turns the field over, because what you can't see on the camera here, the wind did have an impact. That put the ball deep into the South Dakota's territory.
So there was a 3 and out. They kick it to him again. This is a second quarter special teams highlight reel for Christian Dudzik.
Without question, a great punt by South Dakota. Here you can see some good blocking up front. Christian's got good speed, finds a crease, keeps on making his way down the field, cuts back, and then, I hate to say it, but I think the line got him right there.
And those yard lines were cut into that field. There was a little ridge. I'll give him some credit on that one. But this did turn into some points. The first return of his did not. This one did. You hit Trevor Gebhardt on a 3rd and 10 play here.
Well, once again, you can see really good protection by our offensive line. Brock reads the coverages, throws the ball, delivers it, and what a tremendous catch by Trevor Gebhardt coming over the middle.
Now this drive, this is a 4th and 1 play here.
It was. We dialed up a 4th and 1 there and decided to go for it. Brock follows his offensive lineman, comes up with a touchdown.
Some trouble on the point after attempt here, though.
Well, we've got to work on this. You can see penetration up the middle. Anytime you have that, that's a recipe for disaster. And we're fortunate here that Kyle Emanuel was very astute, ran down the returner.
Coach, we talked last week about how you wanted more takeaways on defense, and you get it here. They try a trick play here, and it just does not work.
Great discipline by our defense, and you can see Travis Beck coming in and punching out the football. We spent a lot of time working on having an aggressive attitude to take that ball away.
Now, Brent Vegan dials up a play here where it gets Brock out of the pocket on this play, and he makes a nice throw on the run.
Well, you know, we felt like we could mix up some things with our play action. Here's a run pass option, not a pass option, but a pass off the run action. And Nate Moody there shows his determination. Like I said, the old Dickinson native's done a great job for us.
Now, you missed the point after attempt there, too, but it's 26-0. A great half of football by the Bison. Brock Jensen really played a nice half there. Nate Moody from Dickinson, as we mentioned, 4 catches, 73 yards. Dudzik was phenomenal in the return game. Just 3 first downs in the entire half by South Dakota. Christian Dudzik, one of the stars of the game. He's on the Bison hot seat. What's the most painful injury you've ever had?
Probably pulled hamstring 3 times in high school.
Yeah, those are nagging too. Do you prefer fruit or vegetables?
Probably a mix in the V8 drinks. I like those.
Okay. What is more important to you, television or the internet?
The internet, plenty information. Probably the best invention of the 20th century.
I agree. Favorite season of the year, spring, summer, fall, or winter?
Fall, my birthday, and love football season.
You could have an endless supply of food, what would it be?
Probably baked potatoes.
How many dates would you go on before you introduced that person to your parents?
Probably 4.
How about your favorite cartoon as a kid?
Probably had to be SpongeBob SquarePants.
If you owned a yacht, what would you name it?
Sunken treasure.
How about your worst personality trait?
Pride.
If you could snap your fingers and appear somewhere else, where would it be?
Down at my grandparents' house in Oklahoma.
Coach, you're up big at half. You won the toss again this week, and talk about that. You defer, and that's a big thing to get the ball to start the second half.
Well, it certainly is the most important series of the whole game. We always feel like it's the first series of the second half, and it was really important for our offense to come out and reestablish momentum. Go in and let's get some points.
This was a really good first drive. Let's roll the tape and look at this second half. Another defensive half for the Bison, but it starts off here. You get the ball and the offense clicking. This is a 3rd and 16 play to keep the drive going.
Really great protection. Brock put the ball right on the money, and once again, it's Trevor Gephardt with the excellent catch.
Steve Walker mentioned on this play, this is a tough throw, and Brock executes it.
Really tough throw right there. Puts it right in the corner of the field there, and who caught the ball? Nate Moody.
You were stuffed twice on the goal line here, so you had to go to this kind of rollout to the fullback.
Well, this is a play-action pass, and Andrew Barnett's a young player, redshirt freshman, and Brock put the ball right there. And it's tough to defend when they put all those guys up against a run. Somebody's going to be open.
This defense was just nasty all night, and this was just a great sequence here.
Well, our guys came out with a hard edge and played with a great deal of energy, not only at the start, but throughout the whole game. And not only the starters, but all our players played really well.
More good special teams play after the sack there by Grant Olson, but this is basically a block punt. Doesn't go down as a block, but it basically is.
We were there. We came with a block there, and the punter just said, I got no chance. I'm just going to try to run for it. And great job by Tim Polasek and that special teams unit.
And now the route's on because you're back in the end zone making them pay for that mistake.
Well, anytime you block a punt, it's usually going to turn the field over like it did, and once again, now 40-0.
Now we're going to show a run play that it gets positive yardage for the Coyotes because it's a significant play. It's their only first down of the entire second half. They had 1 first down the whole half.
Well, you know, Chris Kleiman and the defensive staff and all our defensive players did an excellent job. It was important for them to continue to play well.
How's John doing? Is he pretty healthy? He got some nice reps.
Yeah, he is. I think he'll be a little bit more healthy. He missed a lot of practice repetition, and that hurt him, but hopefully he'll be back sharper this next week.
The backups are in. They're playing hard.
Here's Zach Colvin, a young player who's from Superior, Wisconsin, did a nice job, an aggressive tackle.
Devion Dinwiddie, this kid is electric. He has some make-you-miss in him.
Well, he certainly does, and he's such a self-starter guy, and you can see he's in there competing, and the game is in hand, but he's playing as hard as what he can, as long with that offensive line.
Some good reps for Carson Wentz here. He shows some nice ability here.
Anytime you can get your backup quarterback in the game, those are real meaningful reps, and here you can see he's got good mobility, finds the open receiver right in the end zone, and big touchdown for us, 47-0.
Bismarck's happy about that. 47-0 now. Fittingly ends with a pick-6 here. Old Zach Colvin makes another play.
Well, it's great to see Zach get out there, and you've got a lot of young players that are out playing in the game, and quarterback tosses it out. Zach does a nice job, and you can see he's very determined to get in the end zone.
Just a dominant performance by NDSU. We're going to break down some of the defensive numbers coming up, but the final score, 54-0. Brock Jensen, a solid game. Sam O'Jury ran the football very well. Nate Moody, really good, 91 yards and a score. Look at the total yards, 385 to 76. Here's what the players had to say after the game.
There's a lot of tough breaks last week, and you know, it was important for us to move forward and not dwell on that game and have the same team beat us twice. You know, it's important to, you know, bounce back from a game like that and show maturity. When I learned Ryan wouldn't be going this week and that I'd be returning punts and kicks, I got pretty excited, and you know, I've been asking Coach Paulus to give me the opportunity to go, and he gave it to me a few weeks ago and gave it to me tonight, and I just wanted to take advantage of that opportunity.
Coach has drew up a great game plan. You know, we executed, you know, pretty good. Would like to play better, but came with the win.
Never satisfied. You got to love it. Good comments by Nate Moody right there. Let's talk about the wide receiver group right now. They played well in this game, but you do have some injury concerns there. Ryan Smith was out, and you lost Cooper Wallow in this game.
Yeah, we did. Cooper will be out for several weeks. He broke his fibula, so, you know, we're going to be down another receiver. Hopefully, though, this next week we're going to have Ryan back. You know, I think Kenny Burns has done just a great job developing depth, and those guys are playing at a really high level. The next guy goes in, they step up and get the job done.
Let's talk about Christian Dudzik a little bit. What a football player he's turned out to be, and you can tell he has all those intangibles. So no Ryan Smith in the punt return game. You throw him in there. He's got the speed, he's got the smarts, and he just had a great night.
Well, you know what? He's a very aggressive player, and he said he does possess really good speed, and we appreciate his competitive nature. You know what? Christian Dudzik would try to do anything he could to even win a game in tiddlywinks. He's been a great addition to our football team. The Omaha native has really done a great job, and here you can see he has a phenomenal return.
Talk about his 40 time. It was really fast.
Well, he's a 4.37. He's the fastest guy on a football team, and that surprised a lot of people, but he's got great speed.
Well, let's move to the defense now, and this was just an unbelievable defensive masterpiece that deserves another look at the numbers here. This is hard to do to a team. Nobody had been doing this to South Dakota. Only 4 first downs in this football game, 76 total yards. It's an unbelievable performance. 0 for 12 on third down conversions. Well,
it's really hard to get a shutout. I don't care who you're playing against, and then particularly against a formidable opponent, a Valley opponent, fully funded. And you know, I think our defensive staff and our defensive players, for the most part, have been very consistent all week long, all game, all season long, and just a lot of really good players out there, and they're playing with a great deal of energy.
The last 2 opponents against the Bison are 1 of 22 on third down. That's an incredible stat. And let's knock on some wood here, but this road winning streak, Coach, it's been a couple years now. What is the secret on the road for the success of this team?
Well, we've got good football players, and the coaching staff, they've gotten our guys really focused. A lot of times there's some distractions. We've got a good, mature football team. It's going to be important that we keep on playing well, though.
Last road loss was in 2010. Unbelievable. Time for our Nodak Mutual Insurance Player of the Game. Sioux Falls native Trevor Gebhardt was a star in his hometown this past weekend. He had 6 catches for 81 yards on a night where his team needed him. The receiver unit had 3 guys down with injury, but Gebhardt stepped up and delivered. Many of his catches were very tough and of the highlight reel material.
Our coaches put in a great game plan, and we had a great week of practice. We had awesome preparation, and you know, it just makes the execution on the field a lot more easier when you have that great week of practice and that great game plan coming in.
Congratulations, Trevor Gebhardt of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Come here, we're going to take a look at Grant Olson. turning into a great leader, a great football player, and we're going to dive into what makes him tick. Stay with us. Welcome back to the show. As time goes on, it's very clear, in fact, crystal clear, that the Bison have something special in Grant Olson. Not only is he dominating on the football field, but he is a special person, a true leader. Jamal Spencer takes an in-depth look this week at the difference Grant Olson is making on and off the field.
Ask Grant Olson's teammates to describe him, and they'll almost all say the same thing.
You know, he's always talking, you know, during meetings, during, you know, lunch, during dinner, anything like that. You know, he's always a guy that's, you know, really vocal.
He's always talking, he's always in a good mood, he's always smiling, cracking jokes, laughing, and, you know, he's just a fun guy to be around.
The junior from Plymouth, Minnesota takes pride in his loquacious ways, not just on the field, but in the team meeting rooms as well.
Challenge I like to take is if I can stump one of the coaches, and if I can ask a question that they don't have an answer to, I'll count that as a win, and if I can't, they win. So it's a little bit of a personal challenge. You know, we go back and forth, but we have a good time with it.
But that's what separates Olson from a lot of other football players. He's not just talking to liven things up. Whenever he opens his mouth, he's trying to help as many people as possible.
You know, Grant comes in, you know, he's only a junior, so, you know, it's not like he's a senior guy, but, you know, he comes in, he acts like, you know, he comes out and he encourages freshmen, sophomore, juniors, and seniors. You know, even if you're older than him, you know, it doesn't matter to him.
It's just kind of, you know, your job to help other people, and that's one of, I guess, my personal views on life is that, you know, we're here to serve others. That's kind of how I view it, and that's how I try and live my life.
That creed was put on display a week ago when Olson spent the night in the hospital with injured teammate Brian Shepard.
I just remember my senior year, I had a situation really similar to that, and I remember the pain I was in, and you know, I just remember thinking how much I appreciated the fact that my dad and a friend's dad came. You know, they stayed with me. They made sure I was okay. You know, that was a really big comfort for me, and I knew nobody else was there for him. You know, and Shep's a guy I care about a lot. He's one of my teammates. He's a very good friend. So, you know, I thought to myself, there's no way I'm leaving him until we make sure everything's okay and he gets taken care of.
Olson actually called the coaching staff at 5 a.m. to let them know that Shepard was all right. Just the latest example to show how much of a communicative leader the linebacker has become. For the Craig Bohl Football Show, I'm Jamal Spencer.
Coach, let's talk about Grant Olson a little bit. Obviously a phenomenal football player, has everything you want in a middle linebacker, but he has all those other intangibles too, doesn't he?
You know what? I spent a great deal of time in the offseason learning about leadership. Grant Olson exemplifies all those characteristics. He's not only a guy that's very verbal, and the players talk about that, his actions speak louder than his words. For him to go down and spend an evening or a night at the hospital, and he does so many things that people don't realize. It's a real pleasure to have him, and there's a reason why we're playing so well. A lot of it has to do with Grant Olson.
Did you see that in the recruiting process? He played for Wayzata, a football power in the Twin Cities, has great family pedigree. His dad went to West Point. I mean, obviously he has all the things in his background too. That was the number one thing. We knew he was a good football player, but he had tremendous leadership skills even as a younger player. And he's got a magnetic personality. When we recruited him, now's the time for him to shine, and he's doing it. He's doing a great job leading our football team. Do you think in the recruiting process, too, he talked about that injury he suffered at Wayzata. Do you think that scared people off a little bit and allowed you to come in and get a guy like Grant? Oh, you know what? I know he joked that if he were 2 inches taller, he'd be playing at a Big Ten school. And he said he thanks the Lord every day he was two inches too short. You know, I don't know why. I just know their loss is our benefit. Grant's a big-time player. As good a football player he is, he's a better person. Really special. It's been a pleasure for me to have a chance to work with him. Yep, celebrate him, Bison Nation. What a special talent he is for NDSU. Coming up, we're going to take a look ahead. We'll have the future crop of Bison take a look at another one of those young stars coming up and take a look at a big ball game coming up this week. Stay with us. Welcome back to the show. We dip into the special teams for this week's Peterson Farm Seed Future Crop of Bison. Redshirt freshman punter Ben LeCompte. LeCompte is from Barrington, Illinois, where he did all of the kicking and played offense and defense in high school. At NDSU, he's mostly punting, but he has handled kickoff duties at times. As a punter, he is trending up. He had 4 punts this past weekend, averaged 40 yards a punt on a very windy day. LeCompte has visions of a stellar 4-year run here at NDSU.
I feel lucky. I mean, I came in here and I knew Voigtlander had the job last year, and I just worked hard, man. I mean, it's just to be the starter my freshman year. I feel like I have a great opportunity to be a starter for 4 years and to be somewhere that a lot of guys can't say they were.
Bright future for Ben ahead. Now, Coach, let's take a look ahead here at the conference. A lot of things happened over the weekend. Indiana State continues to roll, and Southern Illinois is suddenly red hot.
Well, they're playing very well, and they're very well coached by a good friend of mine, Dale Lennon. They'll be coming to town this next week. It's going to be a big, big ball game, but you know they have come. They're like a phoenix. People had written them off a long time ago, and they're taking great steps. Good football team.
How about Missouri State winning at Illinois State? That's what can happen in this conference.
Well, you know what? We all joke about it at the conference meetings that the amount of parity that's there. If you're not ready to play, you're not going to win. That's just a matter of facts. And Missouri State once again came up with an impressive win.
Obviously, Northern Iowa still competing, also giving South Dakota State a loss. Let's look at the standings now and kind of clear the dust a little bit here, and this shows that this is a huge ball game this week at Gate City Bank Field in the Fargo Dome.
Well, you can see just the makeup as we're coming down the stretch, and we take them one at a time and make no mistakes. Our eyes are set on Southern Illinois, and I know they're going to come in scrapping, ready to play too, Jeremy.
What do you hear about them this year as far as personnel? I know it's very early in the week, but like you said, they struggled early, but boy, they're on now.
Well, I think they're taking care of the football and they're creating turnovers. They've done a great job in special teams. I think they blocked a punt the last 3 games and turned a couple of them in for touchdowns. They play stinging defense, and we've had really competitive games, and we'll have another one this week, I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll see you out at Gate City Bank Field at the Fargo Dome. Southern Illinois at NDSU, huge ball game. Statewide TV, actually nationwide TV on Fox College Sports, pregame show as well. It's going to be a huge week in the Valley, huge week for the Bison. Congratulations, Coach, on the victory. Outstanding effort by the coaching staff and all of Bison Nation for showing up in Sioux Falls. We'll see you next week, folks. Have a good one.